Oh, this is an actual news story, like a real one. So, Laura Loomer gave, I don't know, gave Trump the Botox blowy or something, hit him with a little magic, uh, convinced him to fire a bunch of National Security Council staffers. She led a meeting which was attended to by Trump and some other top cabinet officials, and essentially made the argument that a bunch of the people in the National Security Council weren't sufficiently loyal to him. Axios reported that 3 senior NSC officials were fired after the Loomer meeting with the White House. The firings came a week after the Signal group chat leak. Yeah. Loomer has publicly accused Trump administration staffers of disloyalty and said there has been vetting failures at the NSC and elsewhere through various posts on X. Yeah, give me the deets. Yeah, not paywalling me this time. Piece of shit. 6 NSC officials fired after an extraordinary meeting in the Oval Office with the far-right activist Laura Loomer, she's a Nazi, who laid out a list of people she believed were disloyal to the president, U.S. officials said on Thursday. God damn, man. It was a remarkable spectacle. Miss Loomer, who has floated the baseless conspiracy theory that the September 11 attacks were an inside job and is viewed as extreme even by some of Mr. Trump's far-right allies, was apparently wielding more influence over the staff of the National Security Council than Mr. Waltz, who runs the agency. The account of the White House meeting with Miss Loomer and the subsequent firings is based on interviews with 8 people with knowledge of the events. I love how we're getting every single detail out of the administration, and every time it's like, this thing happened behind closed doors. We interviewed 27 people who were present. There were 32 people there. We've interviewed all but 5 of them. Every single one of these motherfuckers is like, I gotta get to like the New York Times. I need to talk to somebody about this. They asked for anonymity to discuss confidential meetings. Of course. The people fired included Brian Walsh, Senior Director for Intelligence, Maggie Doherty, the Senior Director for International Organizations, and Thomas Boudry, the Senior Director for Legislative Affairs. None could be reached for comment. Mr. Waltz was not fired, nor was one of Miss Loomer's top targets, the Deputy National Security Advisor Alex Wong. Apart from the firing, several other officials who had been detailed to the council were reassigned back to their home agencies over the weekend, even before the White House meeting. Miss Loomer, reached by phone, declined to comment. She confirmed on Twitter she had attended the meeting but would not provide details. A White House spokesman did not respond to an email seeking comment, and NSC officials said they would not comment on personnel matters. I don't really know what Loomer's motivations are outside of implementing a Fourth Reich. It seems like I do fully believe the idea that she has either slept with Trump or has rizzed him in some fashion, which is insane, but I do buy into it. I'll buy it. Obviously, she's far right. It's not really up for debate, I guess. The question then is, like, what are her motivations? Like, what direction does she want to steer the country into? And my guess is that she's one of the, like, it's more pure grift for her. Like, she wants America to be, like, based and red-pilled in the ways that conform to her long-term goals of making money as a person advocating for a certain set of impossible policies. It's kind of like the same thing you get from Nick Fuentes, where he's a Nazi, but then he occasionally performatively distances himself from the Trump administration, because if he becomes too openly pro-MAGA, he becomes more like his competitors, and he loses the, like, cult audience that he has, you know? So there's a need to kind of pull away a little bit, so there's that distinction. Same reason, by the way, why Alex Jones has never, like, fully gone on with the Trump train, because if he fully goes into the Trump train, he encourages his audience to start consuming, like, other insane MAGA content creators, and he becomes less relevant. You have to carve out your own niche. Or maybe she just really hates neocons. Who knows? The roughly 30-minute meeting with Ms. Loomer was also attended by Vice President J.D. Vance and other senior officials, including the Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles. It is insane to me, by the way, that Laura Loomer is not just, like, around Trump on Air Force One or whatever, but she is actively hosting meetings where she's giving policy directives to the president. And these meetings are being attended not only by the president of the United States, but also by the VP and senior officials. Like, you just, everyone sit down, okay? We have, like, a content creator here to provide policy direction. Head of Personnel Office Sergio Gore, and Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, whose brother died in the September 11th attacks. I actually didn't know that. Unclear what the firings meant for Mr. Waltz, who has a tenuous hold on his own job. Trump has so far declined to terminate Waltz after he inadvertently invited the Atlantic's editor-in-chief, Jeffrey Goldberg, to a Signal group chat. Right. Senior officials who've discussed Mr. Waltz privately with the president say that Mr. Trump's reluctance to fire his national security advisor is more a matter of him wanting to avoid bad publicity than a sign of confidence in Mr. Waltz. Mr. Trump has made clear to his staff he does not want to give the media the satisfaction of seeing Mr. Waltz fired. He also does not want to start the cycle of firing top officials that plagued his first term, they said. That's a good point, actually. Even if Trump personally dislikes people in his cabinet, he's got the opposite problem of the first term, where in his first term, his cabinet was full of so-called neocons, so he had the ability to, like, fire them willy-nilly because he could pretend that was him draining the swamp, you know, getting rid of disloyal people who held him back. Now, he awarded positions almost exclusively based on loyalty. So he doesn't have that excuse anymore. And if he starts firing people willy-nilly, he kind of he denigrates his own credibility in a way that just wasn't the case before. So he could potentially, the cabinet could fill up with people who he doesn't like very much, and he just feels like he can't fire them. Some South African comes to mind. Do you think that Elon would try to hit that? Do you think he would try to apply sex-selective IVF on Laura Loomer in lieu of his fucked up penis or whatever? Doing the work? That'd be crazy. I know it stinks in there. I wish there was more information on this, but I guess it just happened. I also really wish they would stop saying, like, the one thing that every, they want to talk about is the fact that she's a 9/11 skeptic or whatever the fuck. Who cares, man? Like, 50% of the population it thinks something weird happened to 9/11. I don't fucking care. What about all the, like, Nazi shit? Who's, like, is that really the most critical? Her being a fascist is maybe a little bit worse. Well, we wouldn't want to get ideological with it. Do you think the cultishness will get worse? Oh, yeah. Oh, it's gonna get really bad. Because for a long time now, the way Republicans have defended Trump and what Trump wants to do is by calling upon Americans and asking them to think about how things were better during Trump's term than they were during Biden's. Which they weren't, of course, but, you know, they say it. With the pretense of the country's getting better gone, you have to turn to faith. It's gonna get more cult-like. Yeah, people don't typically leave cults because the prediction turned out to be wrong.